Today, we will explore Ancient Nubia, Egypt's rival civilization. Make sure to subscribe, like, and leave a comment below. Let's start with a brief overview before diving into the details. For centuries, Egypt's grand pyramids, majestic pharaohs, and towering monuments have captured the world's imagination. But what if we told you that Egypt's true rival wasn't some faraway empire, but a neighboring civilization that thrived in the shadows, often overshadowed by Egypt's fame? This is the untold story of Nubia, Egypt's fierce competitor in both power and culture, whose legacy was almost lost to time. In the heart of Africa, along the great Nile River, lay the Kingdom of Kush. An ancient civilization whose power, riches, and military might rivaled Egypt's greatest pharaohs. But beneath the surface of this rivalry lies a tale of conquest, alliances, and betrayals that would forever change the course of history. Nubians weren't just Egypt's competitors, they were its conquerors. In a stunning twist, it was Nubia, not Egypt, that ruled Egypt for a time. The Kushite dynasty, a family of powerful Nubian rulers, took the throne of Egypt, and what followed was a golden age for Nubia, an era where Nubian pharaohs sat on the throne of Egypt, and their people dominated the Nile. For the first time, Nubian culture, religion, and art shaped Egypt's identity, creating a powerful bond between these two ancient lands. But as quickly as they rose, they fell. Was it Egyptian betrayal, outside invaders, or their own internal strife that brought down the mighty Kushite dynasty? The twists don't stop there. While Egypt's pharaohs were known for their architectural wonders, it was in the depths of Nubia's deserts that an entirely different legacy flourished. Hidden in plain sight, Nubia's pyramids, more numerous than Egypt's, stood as silent witnesses to the civilization's once great power. What these pyramids hold in secrets is only now being uncovered. Were these royal tombs simply burial sites, or did they hide something far darker? What was the true power that the Nubians controlled, and how did it shape the future of not only Egypt but the entire world? As we peel back the layers of history, we'll uncover the rivalry that fueled one of Africa's greatest civilizations, one that stood toe-to-toe with the mighty pharaohs, only to be overshadowed by the passage of time. The truth about Nubia's legacy is more thrilling and complex than any myth. Watch as we reveal the shocking truths that history tried to bury. Let's discuss in detail. Topic 1: The Shadows of Egypt. In the land of the Nile, where Egypt's majestic pyramids soar toward the heavens, and the colossal statues of pharaohs gaze eternally across the desert sands, one civilization's glory overshadows all others. Egypt, with its golden age of architectural wonders, royal splendor, and divine rulers, stands as the world's eternal beacon of power and wisdom. For centuries, the pyramids, the temples, and the scrolls of Egypt's pharaohs have mesmerized the world, shaping the course of history with their mystique and might. Yet, beyond the great sand dunes to the south, a rival civilization has long lingered in the periphery, Nubia. A land rich in gold, precious stones, and fierce warriors, Nubia's history has been all but erased from the records of time. The mighty kingdoms of Kush, once Egypt's fierce competitor, have been relegated to mere footnotes in the annals of Egypt's glory. The Nubians, though equally advanced, have been forgotten, their stories buried beneath Egypt's towering monuments and the shadows of its kings. While the world gazes upon Egypt's victories and legends, the pulse of Nubia's strength beats quietly in the distance. The fertile land along the Nile, dotted with smaller pyramids and tombs, often overshadowed by Egypt's grand structures, holds the secrets of a civilization whose power rivaled that of the pharaohs. From the towering cliffs of Napata to the desert tombs of Meroe, Nubia's ancient cities and temples remain hidden, their significance veiled from the world. But beneath the surface, a stirring begins. Whispers from across the Nile speak of a rising force, one that will not remain in the shadows for much longer. The true power of Nubia is waiting to break free, and the world may soon witness the return of a rival civilization that history tried to forget. Topic 2: The Rise of the Kushites. In the heart of Africa, where the Nile River carves its path through the vast desert, the Kingdom of Kush begins to stir. Far from the reach of Egypt's towering monuments and royal decrees, the Kushites build their empire with steady hands, fueled by the wealth of their lands and the strength of their people. Gold flows from the mines, and the iron from their forges shapes powerful weapons and tools. The Kushite warriors, known for their relentless prowess in battle, prepare in silence, watching as the mighty river flows southward toward Egypt. Kush, a kingdom of ancient warriors and sagacious rulers, is not a land of mere survival, it is a civilization flourishing with rich resources, culture, and military might. The Kushite kings, often seen as Egypt's northern neighbors, are learning the art of governance and warfare from their Egyptian counterparts, but they are not content to merely observe. Instead, they are strategizing, plotting for the day when they will no longer be bound by the shadows of Egypt's greatness. The Nubians are not just rivals in trade or influence, they are conquerors in disguise, biding their time. They know Egypt's strength and weaknesses, having studied the pharaoh's rule for centuries. Their cities, though not as widely known, are as grand as any found along the Nile. Their armies, strong and well-trained, are prepared to make their move. From the highlands of Nubia to the royal city of Napata, whispers of a bold plan begin to circulate. The Kushites will no longer be passive observers but will rise to claim their rightful place as rulers of the Nile. With military strategies and alliances being forged in secrecy, the Kushites prepare to strike when the time is right. Little do the Egyptians know that the rival they once dismissed as inferior is quietly growing in power, waiting for the perfect moment to make their claim to Egypt's throne. Tropic 3, the Golden Age of Nubia. The unimaginable happens. With the precision of a thunderclap, the Kushite forces, long underestimated by Egypt's elite, sweep across the land. In a series of lightning-fast maneuvers, the Kushite army, led by a charismatic and ruthless king, marches into Egypt. The pharaohs, caught off guard and divided by internal strife, falter in the face of this relentless invasion. Egypt, once invincible in the eyes of the world, is subdued. The Kushites do not merely conquer, they dominate. In a stunning turn of events, a Nubian king ascends to the throne of Egypt, marking the beginning of the Kushite dynasty. The once proud civilization that had ruled for thousands of years now finds itself under the rule of those it had long considered its rivals. The monumental pyramids of Giza, the temples of Karnak, and the statues of past pharaohs now stand in the shadow of a new power. A power that was once thought to be no more than a footnote in history. Under the reign of the Kushite rulers, Egypt enters a new era, a golden age defined by Nubian influence. The culture, religion, and art of the Kushites begin to shape Egypt's identity. The gods of Nubia, once seen as foreign, are now worshipped alongside Egypt's ancient deities. The temples of Egypt, once dedicated to its pharaohs, are now adorned with Nubian symbols and carvings. Artisans, influenced by the rich traditions of Nubia, create masterpieces that blend the ancient Egyptian style with the bold, new aesthetic of Nubian craftsmanship. For the first time in history, the Egyptian elite find themselves taking cues from their conquerors. The Kushite rulers, skilled diplomats and tacticians, strengthen Egypt's borders, ensure the flow of trade, and revitalize the once declining economy. The former enemies, now united under a single banner, find prosperity under this new order. Egypt, the land of pharaohs, is forced to bow before its once enemy, Nubia. But this golden age is not merely one of peace and prosperity. Beneath the surface, tensions simmer. As Nubian culture takes hold, the Egyptian nobles and priests, humiliated by the presence of foreign rulers, begin to plot their revenge. The balance of power may have shifted, but the seeds of future conflict are already being sown. Tropic 4, Unlikely Alliances. The Kushite rulers, now firmly seated on Egypt's throne, face a world far more treacherous than they ever anticipated. The once proud pharaohs may have been dethroned, but the fight for control is far from over. As the new dynasty embarks on its reign, political intrigue runs rampant, and danger lurks in every shadowed corridor of the palace. To solidify their rule, the Kushite pharaohs know they must strengthen their power base, not only through military might but through alliances that extend beyond the borders of Egypt. In a series of surprising moves, they turn to foreign powers, alliances that once seemed unimaginable. Egypt's former rivals, like the kingdoms of the Levant and even the distant lands of Mesopotamia, offer their support in exchange for trade and influence. These alliances, once thought impossible, could be the key to the Kushite survival. Yet, such unexpected allies come with their own agendas and ambitions, each seeking their own advantage. But even as the Kushites forge these alliances, the old elite of Egypt, the nobles and high priests who once ruled with divine authority, begin to see the new dynasty as a threat to their status. Their pride is wounded, their control over Egypt's temples and military waning. In the shadows of the grand palaces, whispers of conspiracy begin to swirl. Ancient Egyptian loyalty runs deep, and many cannot accept the rule of foreign kings. These former rulers, threatened by their loss of power, begin to form their own alliances with rivals from within Egypt and even traitors from the Kushite court. The elite, with their centuries of knowledge and influence, are willing to do anything to reclaim Egypt for themselves. Hidden beneath their polished smiles and formal court attire, they plot the downfall of the Kushite rulers. Spies are planted within the palace, rumors are spread, and covert meetings are held in the dead of night. The new pharaohs, caught in a web of deceit, realize too late that the very alliances they believed would secure their reign might just be their undoing. As the Kushite rulers try to navigate this world of complex diplomacy, they must face the brutal reality. Betrayal lurks in every corner, and their enemies are not only on foreign soil but also sitting at the very heart of Egypt's power. The golden age they have brought is threatened not by outside forces, but by the very people who once served them. Tropic 5, Whispers of Betrayal. As the Kushite dynasty settles into its new rule, Egypt enters an era of apparent prosperity. The once divided land is united under a foreign banner, and the blessings of Nubian culture and power begin to seep into every aspect of Egyptian life. Temples are restored, trade flourishes, and the royal court is bathed in the wealth of newfound alliances. Yet, despite the outward success, a sense of unease begins to creep into the royal palace. Beneath the golden facade of triumph, whispers of betrayal stir in the shadows. Servants exchange hushed words in dark corridors, and the laughter that fills the grand halls of the palace hides a growing tension. Even the Kushite pharaohs, secure in their newfound reign, begin to sense something amiss. The courtiers and nobles who once swore loyalty now seem distant, their eyes glinting with distrust. No longer content to accept their conqueror's rule, many Egyptians secretly nurture plans to overthrow the Kushites. But it's not just the old Egyptian elite who pose a threat. Far deeper within the palace's walls, there are rumors of darker, more personal betrayals. The Kushite rulers, who believe their victories to be secured, find themselves questioning the loyalty of those closest to them. Trusted generals, advisors, and even family members, once pillars of support, begin to act with unsettling secrecy. With the fate of the kingdom at stake, what if the greatest betrayal doesn't come from Egypt, but from within Nubia itself? A storm brews from the heart of Kush, where ambition and power play out behind closed doors. The very forces that brought the Kushites to power now begin to fracture. The royal family is divided. Some of the Kushite leaders, power-hungry and disillusioned with their Egyptian conquests, start to question the legitimacy of the dynasty's reign. They see Egypt not as a prize to be kept, but as a stepping stone to greater glory, glory that should rightfully belong to them. In secret meetings, alliances form, plans are set, and the seeds of rebellion are sown among the highest ranks of Nubian leaders. What was once a proud and united invasion now begins to unravel from within. While the Egyptians have long yearned for the return of their homeland's glory, it is the very people who conquered it who are now poised to bring it down. The future of Egypt, and the fate of the Kushite rulers, will depend on whether these whispers of betrayal are mere rumors, or the beginning of an unstoppable force that will tear apart the kingdom they fought so hard to build. Tropic 6, The Secrets of the Pyramids. While the monumental pyramids of Egypt have long captured the world's imagination, standing as symbols of divine power and eternal life, it is in the arid deserts of Nubia that a different kind of secret lies buried. Hidden among the vast, golden sands, the pyramids of Nubia, more numerous than Egypt's, hold dark mysteries that have remained untouched for centuries. These silent sentinels of stone, far smaller and less ornate than Egypt's famed structures, have long been overlooked by the outside world. But those who know the truth understand that within these pyramids lies a treasure trove of knowledge, wealth, and power that Egypt's pharaohs could only dream of. As the Kushite dynasty flourishes in Egypt, whispers from the deep deserts of Nubia speak of the unimaginable secrets hidden within the royal tombs. Cryptic messages etched into the walls, carvings that no one has yet fully deciphered, suggest that the Kushites were not just concerned with honoring their rulers in death, but with safeguarding something far greater, an ancient power that could reshape the very fabric of Egypt's future. What could this power be? Some say it is a weapon, a force buried deep within the tombs, forged by forgotten gods or lost civilizations that predate even the pharaohs of Egypt. Others speak of arcane knowledge. Lost technologies or forbidden rites that could grant their wielder control over life, death, and the natural world. The pyramids, so often seen as mere burial places, are in fact fortified vaults, holding secrets that the Kushites were determined to protect at all costs. As the Kushite rulers sit on Egypt's throne, a question hangs in the air. What is the true purpose of these ancient pyramids? Are they tombs, or are they something more? If the Kushites unlock the full power hidden within their desert tombs, could they possess the means to reign over Egypt indefinitely, unchallenged and unstoppable? Or would they unleash a force so great that it could destroy not just Egypt, but the entire ancient world? The answers lie within the heart of Nubia's pyramids, waiting to be uncovered by those bold enough to seek them. But as the Kushite rulers continue to consolidate power in Egypt, a dangerous game is being played. The secrets of the pyramids are not just historical relics, they are the key to an empire's destiny. And for the first time in centuries, those secrets are about to be revealed. Tropic 7, The Fall of the Mighty. The golden age of the Kushite dynasty, once a symbol of power and triumph, begins to crumble as swiftly as it rose. What was once an unshakable reign now teeters on the edge of destruction. The mighty forces that propelled the Kushites to victory over Egypt are now turning against them, and their enemies, both external and internal, seize the moment to strike. Betrayal festers in the heart of the Kushite court. The very leaders who once swore loyalty to the new dynasty are now conspiring to overthrow it. Deep within the royal palace, ambitious generals, disillusioned nobles, and restless factions vie for power, whispering of rebellion. Old allegiances are severed, and in the darkness of the night, knives are sharpened for a coup. As political infighting grows, the Kushite rulers find themselves surrounded by those they once trusted. But it is not only internal strife that threatens their reign. Foreign invaders from across the Nile, sensing the weakening of the Kushites, begin to stir. The Egyptians, humiliated by their defeat and desperate to reclaim their ancient glory, rally under a new leader, a powerful and cunning pharaoh who seeks to restore Egypt to its former greatness. The long-held desire for vengeance against the Nubians erupts into full-scale warfare, as Egypt begins its march to retake what it lost. As the Kushite forces fight on two fronts against Egyptian armies and rebellious factions within, the world watches in disbelief as their empire falters. Once unassailable, the Kushite dynasty now struggles to maintain control over Egypt and its own throne. The war for the Nile becomes a desperate battle for survival, as the once proud conquerors of Egypt find themselves on the defensive, fighting to keep their hold over the very land they once ruled. The glory that the Kushites once held now seems like a distant memory, and as the forces of Egypt draw nearer, the inevitable seems clear: the reign of the Kushite pharaohs is coming to an end. But who will rise to claim the throne? Will Egypt reclaim its crown, or will a new power emerge from the ashes of the fallen empire? Tropic 8, The Blood of Egypt. Just when it seems that the Kushite dynasty's reign is nearing its end, a shocking twist sends ripples through the already fractured empire. From the depths of Egypt's complex political landscape, a figure emerges, one who has remained hidden in the shadows for years, long thought lost to history. A secret family member, a direct descendant of the ancient pharaohs, resurfaces with a claim to the throne. This bloodline, long kept in the dark, ignites the flames of a fierce battle for control of Egypt. This mysterious figure is not merely a claimant from Egypt's past. No, this is a force from the very heart of Nubia itself. The revelation sends shockwaves through both Egypt and Nubia, for the bloodline that now steps forward is no ordinary heir. The individual who claims to be the rightful ruler is, in fact, tied to both the Egyptian pharaohs and the Kushite royal family. A child born of both worlds, raised in secrecy, and now poised to challenge the very foundation of both civilizations. The sudden emergence of this powerful Nubian bloodline sends Egypt into turmoil. The ancient rivalry between Egypt and Nubia reignites with a vengeance. The once proud Egyptian nobles, hungry for the return of their ancient glory, see this as an opportunity to reclaim their past. No longer just as subjugated people under foreign rule, but as the rightful rulers of the Nile once again. But their thirst for power is matched by the ambitions of those within the Kushite court, who see the threat of this new rival as an affront to their legacy. In a twist of fate, it is not the Egyptians who pose the greatest threat to the Kushite dynasty, but a bloodline forged from both Egyptian and Nubian heritage. The war for Egypt's throne is no longer just a battle of rival factions. It is a collision of cultures, loyalties, and legacies that will determine the future of both civilizations. As the battle for the throne escalates, both Egypt and Nubia find themselves caught in a conflict that threatens to tear both lands apart. With the fate of the Nile hanging in the balance, the true heir to the throne, whether Egyptian or Nubian, will shape the destiny of the ancient world. Tropic 9, The Ultimate Betrayal. As the last battle for the throne of Egypt draws near, the once unstoppable Kushite dynasty finds itself on the brink of ruin. Alliances, carefully crafted over years, begin to crumble under the weight of distrust. The rival factions, both Egyptian and Nubian, converge in a final confrontation to decide who will rule the mighty Nile. But in the midst of this chaos, a far more dangerous threat lurks. A betrayal so profound that it threatens to unravel everything the Kushites have fought for. The source of this betrayal comes from the most trusted ally of the Kushite pharaohs, a figure long seen as an unshakable pillar of their rule. A confidant, a strategist, perhaps even a family member, this ally has been by the Kushite side through every victory, every diplomatic maneuver. But as the battle for Egypt reaches its climax, this ally's true loyalties are revealed to be a lie. Behind the scenes, this trusted figure has been secretly conspiring with the Egyptians, working to secure power for themselves at the expense of the Kushite dynasty. In a stunning twist, the betrayal is exposed just as the final armies line up for the decisive clash. The false ally has already set the stage for their own rise, ensuring that the Kushites will face not only the combined might of Egypt's forces but also the destruction of their greatest strength, their very claim to the throne. With their once unified forces now divided, the Kushite rulers scramble to hold on to what little power remains. But the true shock comes when the long-guarded secret of the Kushite royal family is finally uncovered. Buried deep within the heart of Nubia's pyramids, the Kushites have hidden a power beyond anyone's wildest imagination, a power that could forever alter the course of history. It is not just a treasure or ancient knowledge that has been concealed for centuries. This secret, once thought lost to time, is a force of unimaginable destruction, capable of wiping out entire civilizations, including Egypt itself. As the traitor's plan unfolds, the ancient power locked away in Nubia's pyramids begins to awaken. The Kushites, desperate and cornered, face a fateful decision: use this power to annihilate their enemies and reshape the world in their image, or risk it being used against them, as the betrayal threatens to destroy everything they've worked to build. The fate of Egypt, Nubia, and the ancient world now hangs on a precipice. With alliances shattered and the power of the pyramids revealed, the final battle is no longer just for the throne, it is for the very survival of civilizations. The ultimate betrayal may be the last blow that forever alters the destiny of the Nile. Tropic 10, The Hidden Legacy. The dust from the final battle settles across the battlefield, and the once proud Kushite dynasty lies in ruins. The shattered forces of Egypt and Nubia now stare at the aftermath, their fates intertwined in a world forever altered. But the most astonishing revelation is yet to come, a truth so buried, so hidden, that it has been forgotten by even the most learned historians and priests. As the last remnants of the Kushite Empire crumble, the true legacy of the Nubian kings begins to surface. It is not just military might, political acumen, or a rich cultural heritage that gave the Kushites their strength, it was something far darker, far more potent. The Nubian kings, it is revealed, wielded mystical powers that surpassed even the ancient magic and divine authority of Egypt's pharaohs. Beneath the sands of time, in the forgotten pyramids of Nubia, lies an ancient secret. An artifact, a lost art, or perhaps even a form of knowledge that grants its wielder control over the forces of nature, life, and death. This hidden legacy is not just a relic of the past, but an active power capable of reshaping the world. The Kushites, in their time of greatest need, were always aware of this force, nurturing it, guarding it, but never fully unlocking its potential. The tragic irony is that, in their final moments, the Kushite rulers never truly understood the depths of the power they held. They believed it was their military strategy, their diplomacy, and their culture that sustained their reign. But now, with their empire destroyed, it becomes clear, it was the mystical force beneath the pyramids that had given them the edge they needed. As the final betrayals are revealed, the secret of this power is uncovered, leaving the world to reckon with its implications. The revelation of Nubia's hidden legacy sends shockwaves through the ancient world. The true scope of Nubia's influence on history is laid bare, and it is far greater than anyone could have imagined. For centuries, Egypt's dominance over the Nile was seen as a given. But in reality, it was Nubia, with its mystical power and untapped potential, that quietly shaped the fate of the entire region. Egypt's rise, its golden age, and its eventual downfall were not just the workings of pharaohs, but the silent influence of Nubian kings, whose legacy, now revealed, reshapes history in ways the world was never meant to know. As the curtain falls on this saga, one truth stands above all: Nubia was never just Egypt's rival. It was the silent force that controlled the flow of history, and now, with its secret revealed, the balance of power in the ancient world is forever changed.